In this video, I want to share the 7 common subconscious blocks. These common blocks I've taken directly from Dream, Decide, Do, which is my manifestation goal planner. If you'd like to grab a copy of this, I will leave details below this video, or if you already have it, then all you need to do is open up to the Dream section, which is this section, and let's get started into the 7 most common subconscious blocks. So if there's a personal or a professional goal you want to achieve, but each time you go after it, you feel like something is getting in the way, you might have a subconscious block. Now, it is common. Many clients I've worked with have suffered from them, and I have as well. But what separates those who continue to feel unsuccessful from those who succeed is their ability to identify and conquer these blocks. So see if you can identify with any of these 7 common subconscious blocks that might be preventing you from success. I'm just going to list them out quickly. First is self-sabotage. We've got imposter syndrome, start, stop, self-doubt, fear of greatness, fear of failure, and addiction to struggle. So how many of those blocks resonate with you? 1, 4? Even if you're battling all 7, that's okay. The rest of Dream, Decide, Do is going to help you break through and remove the blocks so you can live the life you want and deserve. And so let's now go through those 7 common subconscious blocks, and I will explain each one of them. Block number 1, self-sabotage. That's the belief that I don't deserve it or it never works out for me. Self-sabotage is what happens when you actively or passively do something to prevent yourself from achieving your goals. You might not even realize you're doing it. This is one of the most common blocks. And in fact, not knowing what you're doing is actually a big part of this subconscious block. It's also possible that you don't recognize the signs of self-sabotage. But it's important and crucial to conquering this block to know what it looks like when self-sabotage shows up. Unfortunately, it takes many forms, so it's not always clear, but some common signs include spending money on something frivolous, leaving no money to spend on a course or a book or a tool for your business or some sort of investment you want to make in yourself, failing to make a timely decision about an opportunity, allowing it to go to someone else, making excuses for not working on daily activities to achieve a larger goal you have, not making connections with potential clients or investors or potential friends. Essentially, anything you do that prevents you from working towards your larger goals can be self-sabotage. So how can you bust this block? What practical steps can you take to stop sabotaging yourself? Well, the first step is to understand that behind self-sabotage is just a belief. And the belief is that you are not worth it. You believe subconsciously you are not worth that goal. You're not deserving of that goal. And this is false. So when I work with clients on a private coaching basis, we do a couple of activities to reprogram their subconscious, and those are specific to them. But the exercise that I'm going to give you works for everyone, okay? And this is so they can quickly and instantly change the belief that they are not worth their dreams and goals. And so what we do is we look at and really inspect each limiting belief and transform it into an empowering statement rather than a self-defeating one. Now you can do this as well by following the next exercise to bust through the self-sabotage block. So in the next exercise, take some time to write all the reasons that you love yourself and why you deserve to reach your goals. Then write what I like to call a power statement. Some people also call this an affirmation, but that statement is going to support the reason why you deserve each goal in spite of the limiting belief. All right, block number 2, imposter syndrome. This is the statement, I'm not experienced or worthy enough. So imposter syndrome is another common block among high achievers. You might feel that you're just pretending when you don't feel 100% confident in your talents. Or you might feel that someone is going to discover that you don't really deserve to be where you are, or that you're not worthy to have achieved everything you have. So how do you smash this block? Well, this is a simple exercise that requires you to be objective. In this exercise, you'll write out all of your accomplishments as if you had to prove to someone that you're good at what you do. So with this exercise, you'll play the role of advocate for yourself as if you were on the outside looking in. Block number 3, start, stop. That's leaving projects half finished. Now, start, stop is what happens when you start one project, drop it for another, then stop that one to start a third, and so on and so forth. You begin many new projects or ideas, but you never actually finish or follow through with one. This is a big problem because if you keep starting projects you never finish and everything remains incomplete, you'll begin to feel a lack of accomplishment. And when you feel like you're not accomplishing anything, it's hard to accomplish even just one thing. And that's definitely a huge roadblock to living your lavish life. And this is a block that I had to work through. One of the ways that I was able to overcome it was through focus, Focus, also known as follow one course until successful. So all focus really means is staying on course and following it through until the end. And then when you're finished, look at the outcome. What are your results telling you? So after you complete a project or finish a goal, take some time for reflection. Ask yourself questions like, do I need to continue doing this? Should I duplicate the process or revamp it? Is this worth doing again? Did this move me closer to my goals or take me on a detour? However, if you stop something before you actually finish it, you really can't evaluate whether it worked or not, or whether it actually worked for you. You'll end up getting false results, which could perpetuate that block. Since you want real results, you need to have a solution for breaking through the start-stop block. One effective method is to choose a non-negotiable time of the day to work on your project, business, or goal, and pencil it in just like you would a doctor's appointment or a business meeting. You should also write down what would make this day a success. What will you work on today that will move you forward and help you achieve your goal? That's what you'll focus on during your pre-scheduled time. Now, when I was working on my start-stop block, I started writing down my one big goal for the quarter. Then I would break it down even more. My quarterly goal was fill my group coaching program with X amount of clients. My daily goal was what do I need to do today to fill my coaching program? The activities that I worked on each day answered the daily question, which in turn helped me achieve my quarterly goal. For instance, one day I created an email sequence. The next day I set up an ad for the program. The next I made plans to host a webinar and I worked out the logistics. And I kept working on something each day that helped me reach my ultimate goal. Breaking it down this way helped me focus, follow through, and stop wasting time. I knew that if what I was doing wasn't moving me closer to my goal, I just had to stop working on it. By having a specific written plan that kept me on track with my bigger goal, I was able to plaguing my path to success. Now, on a side note, that is actually how I recommend that you work through this book. There are plenty of journal exercises, and it's easy to read through the book and think, oh, I'm going to come back to them. Instead of making a promise you might not keep, just do the exercises as you come to them. For this book to truly provide a transformational experience, you must focus on getting everything out of it that's meant for you. Block number 4, self-doubt. This one is not believing in yourself or your abilities or skills. Self-doubt, which is closely related to imposter syndrome, tends to show up when we start something new or begin chasing a dream. It makes us question if we can really do it. So we start asking doubting questions like, am I really cut out for this? Is this something that's really right for me? Should I even try? This self-doubt is what prevents you from moving forward. It holds you back from doing what you know you need to be doing and helping the clients you know you need to help. Self-doubt, as you'll see as you continue on through this book, is quite a common block. Fortunately, it's one of the easier ones to overcome, and one way to do that is with this exercise. So with this, you'll write down every single doubt you have and think of a time, at least once in your life, when that doubt wasn't true. So for example, if you doubt that anyone wants to work with you, think of a time you were picked first for a kickball team when you were a kid, or asked to join a team for a project at work. If you're married, think about the time your spouse asked you to marry them or said yes to your proposal if you proposed. A marriage is work, and if you currently are or have been married, that means someone wanted to work with you. And knowing that someone does or did want to work with you should help eliminate the doubt you have that no clients will choose you because you've been picked before. What's true is true is true. So a rose is a rose is a rose. It's not true in this instance, but then not true in this other instance. Truth is. So in this case, because you've been picked before, you won over all the other choices. So stop doubting yourself and instead have the confidence that you're doing exactly what you're meant to do. When you continue to let the doubt creep in, you could set the foundation for a fear of greatness. And when you're afraid of your own greatness, you'll start to play small. So what does it look like to play small? Playing small means staying in your corner, reaching for the safe and the known. You won't go after the bigger deals, the bigger clients, the bigger money. It will hold you back from reaching your full potential, and it cultivates a feeling of jealousy. You'll start comparing yourself to other people. You'll start feeling like you're not worthy or good enough. You're not cut out for the industry that you're in, and that self-doubt cycle will start all over again. And unfortunately, that might undo all the work you've put into overcoming your self-doubt. Now, speaking of playing it safe, the next block is a fear of greatness. But before moving on to that block, use the doubts versus truth exercise inside of the planner to bust through that self-doubt block. Block number 5, fear of greatness. And this is being afraid of the consequences of massive success. Now, during a retreat I attended, we did an exercise that was incredibly powerful for me. During that retreat, we had to write down the name of someone we admire and respect and then list their characteristics. After we did that, the facilitator told us that whatever we wrote down were the traits we have inside of us. And the only reason we can see them and identify them is because we possess them. And I remember reading my list and I almost came to tears because I chose someone that I personally know, I truly admire and respect her. And when I was told that I have those same traits, it really hit home for me. And I thought, yes, I do. This is why I'm awesome. This is why I'm good at what I do. And this is why I need to keep moving forward. And it made me recognize that I'm great and I should no longer fear my greatness. And with that block broken, I set my revenue goals higher and I started chasing everything I wanted. Now, it is possible for you to conquer this block as well. It may not be an easy thing to own how great you are, but you must recognize that it's true. Even if you can't see it now, you have amazing potential and you are destined for wonderful things. It's time for you to recognize how great you are and can be. Now, in order to get through this block, you can do your own version of the exercise I mentioned above. So think of someone you know personally and admire and make a list of why you admire them. Really think about it too. Don't just write, she has a ton of money or her hair is amazing. Write about the personal traits and characteristics that go beyond surface appearances. Then when you're done, look at the list, see the traits you defined and make another list, but this one will be about you. List evidence from your own experience to support how you possess that trait. And soon enough, you'll recognize your own greatness and nothing will stand in the way of you manifesting your perfect life. Once you accept your greatness, you might face the next block. Block number 6, fear of failure. Being afraid of the consequences of failure. If you're afraid, you are not alone. Many people are scared of something and many people are afraid of failing. Failing at work, with money, in our relationships. People often fear that they're not good enough or will be able to do something right. They fear that their efforts won't be perfect or ideal. And that fear prevents them from pursuing their dreams. I see this often with my clients and I remind them that perfection is impossible. And even if perfection were possible, it would be a stumbling block. Because without failing at first, you won't know why you succeeded or how to replicate it. Honestly, I often prefer failure at the start because then I know what to change, I know what to fix. Failure also helps me to see what did work, so I know to do that first time on the next try. Additionally, failure points out strengths and weaknesses, where you need help, where you can go it alone, and what you're best at. It tests your resiliency, which is important when you're in the process of creating your lavish life. Things might not always go the way you plan or expect, and you need to know how to keep going or when to change course. Failure changes your plan for perfection, which, as I tell my clients, is the #1 enemy of success. So let's use launching a webinar as an example. In this case, you worked for weeks putting together a webinar, advertising it, creating the materials, and getting people to sign up. And they did. 30 confirmed registrations. Then the day of, only 10 of them showed up. So how do you rate that? Is it a success? Is it a failure? Many would consider it a failure because only 1/3 of the registrants showed up. However, now you have an opportunity to change, look at the data, and do something different next time to improve the number of attendees. That's a success. To determine if something is a success or a failure, just look at the data. What are the facts telling you? It's easy to be distracted by emotion, particularly when you're trying to launch a business or, starting a new fitness or health routine, but just put your feelings aside and look at the objective evidence in front of you. The data will tell you exactly what you need to do next, and then you can make a plan to do that. Remember, it's okay to fail. Failing means that you've started. It means you've taken action towards changing or fixing your circumstances. It means that you've learned something that you can use next time. But what happens when circumstances don't change? It might not be the fear of failure block at all. In fact, it might actually be addiction to struggle. Block number 7, addiction to struggle. This is an unwillingness to release the status quo of the struggle. This one really hits home. I was addicted to struggle for a very long time in my life. I was living very close to the edge, not having the money that I needed to have, but then also turning down job opportunities and just feeling a general sense of struggle. Then one day I realized I don't have to struggle. It wasn't necessary. And I started taking the steps to become less reliant on and addicted to struggle. And life stopped being a struggle. And it can be that way for you too. You don't have to fight a perpetual never-ending battle. You can give it up. But for many, it's not that easy. They're addicted to the way struggling makes them feel. There's something enjoyable about it, oddly enough. It's bad for you, for your career, your goals, and your dreams. But at the same time, you could also be dependent on the struggle. It's kind of the same as being in a codependent relationship. You're not good for each other, but you can't let go. And therein lies the block. So how do you bust through this block? Well, one effective way is by creating what I like to call a power playlist. These are the songs that empower you, that put you in a great mood, the songs that you can identify with, that talk about success or successful people, and that give you a high that music is capable of giving. For instance, my power playlist consists of a couple of Beyonce songs. I also have some songs by Big Sean, and I internalize their messages. The messages I enjoy speak of the greatness in me, and they motivate me to step into my power. Now, I used to listen to this playlist every day after I left the gym to keep me motivated for the rest of the day because I was just starting my business and I really needed that. And I still revisit those playlists when I start falling back into my old habits to remind me that none of this has to be a struggle. Now, in this final exercise, you'll create your own power playlist. And then as you're listening to that playlist, I want you to think of a time or times in your life when you received something and nothing was expected in return. Now, when I work with clients on a private coaching basis, often I provide to them my Open to Receive program, which is a 14-day mindset challenge I created that teaches you to manifest and receive what you deserve. And in it, I talk a lot about how I overcame being addicted to the struggle. I discuss specific steps, strategies, and tips I implemented and how you can effectively use them. But the most important key to overcoming the addiction is to shift your thinking and realize that you don't have to struggle. You can attract into your life all the blessings that you want and deserve. Now, I hope that this series sharing the 7 most common subconscious blocks was helpful. Once again, go through them as you are moving through your Dream, Decide, Do Manifestation Goal Planner. If you don't have a copy of this already, definitely get that link. In order to get a copy, I'll ship it directly out to you. And if you'd like more help on this and you want to work with me in a closer capacity, then please send me a message, send me a DM, and let's chat about how we can help you to overcome those subconscious blocks in the way of you reaching your full potential. I work with business owners for the most part, but I also work with individuals who are high achievers and who recognize that there's more out there for them and they're simply not reaching those goals because there are some blocks in the way. So we'll chat about what maybe some of your potential subconscious blocks might be. And if it makes sense for us to work together to start moving through those based on some of your goals, and then I'll let you know a little bit more about how we can do that. But once again, I hope that this was helpful for you. And until next time, remember your dreams deserve your decision and you deserve to achieve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them. So go, dream, decide, do, and I'll see you in the next one.